Sairam children, a very good morning to all of you. So children, this video is the last part for the chapter number 8, data file handling. So we are at the end point of this chapter. So let's see what is there today we need to discuss. We are going to discuss about random module. See children, in the last video, in the previous video, we have started topic modules. Introduction to Python, a standard library modules. In that, we have discussed about the math module. So let's recall what are modules first of all. After that, we are going to discuss about the random module. So module is a basic program which a specific function is already built in saved, and at times we will use that function. Okay, so in maths lots of things we discuss, we use like sine, cos, tan. Then if we want to have a power of particular number, if we want to find out the square root of a number, we can use math module, because in the math module many functions are inbuilt. We have discussed in the last video, in the previous video, about ceil function. We have discussed about the square root function. We have discussed about the power function. Okay, so today we are going to discuss a very new module, that is random module. See children, as the name suggests itself, what is the meaning of random? Okay, so Python has a module named random. Like we are having math module. By using this, we are using math function. In the same manner, we are having random module that provides random number generator. For example, let's take one example. We all play Ludo. We have played Ludo in our life. These days also, in the lockdown period, most of the people are passing their time by playing Ludo only. So in that, a very important thing is there, dice. In that dice, one dot is there, it means one. Another, it is a cube like a structured dice. So every side has a individual number like 1, 2, 3, 4, so on till 6. 6 number basically we are having in the dice. So when we shuffle a dice, every time a new number generate from 1 to 6. Sometimes same number also can repeat in the same manner. So that is the best example for the random module. Okay, in the same manner, we are having a random number when we use a random module. Okay, so let's take one more example, casino. In casino, a round dice like structure is there. Between, like this, a object is there, lots of numbers are present around this dice. When it rotates, when it starts rotating, suddenly a ball has come to stop this dice. So ball can be on any number. It is a surprisingly number you will get. In the same manner, in the random module you will get a surprised number. Okay, but in this we can decide the limit. Okay, like if we are giving 10, it means from starting 0 to 10 or 1 to 10, any number can be generated. Getting my point? Okay, so children, let's see how we can use this random module. Okay, now random number is a in simple word means a number generated by chance. So what is the exact meaning of random? Random means a number generated by chance. Three most common random number generator function is there. We are going to discuss about this. First we are having random. Second we are having rand int. In this, two arguments is there. One more thing I would like to add here, children. See, what is the meaning of this? When a word like ABC is written here and two parentheses are there, one is opening and another is closing, and you are having two variables inside that, it means ABC is the function, because just because of this parenthesis ABC, a function in which two arguments are there, A and B. Getting my point? So random is a function we are going to use. Rand int is there. In this two arguments are there, A and B. Third time of function we are having rand range. In this three arguments are there: starting point, stop point and step point. So we will go brief in these three functions. Let's see what is the exact role of these functions. See children, this is a clip from your book only. Now, to generate a random floating point number means decimal number. If you want to generate a decimal number with the help of random function, you can write simply random or parenthesis. In the parenthesis, no need to write anything. It means it will start from 0 and till 1. By default, this is the meaning of this empty parenthesis. Okay, so between 0 and 1, obviously you are having only decimal number like 0 0.01, 0 0.02, 5, 6, like this. So between 0 and 1 you will get the output like this. In this you are having 0 0.0223531934331 in a same manner. So range is 0 from the starting from 0 ending at 1. Okay, now to generate a random floating number between the lower to upper. Now again, if you want a floating point number between the limits of lower to upper, so you can use like this. See this statement: random dot random function. So this random means you are using the random module, and random is a function here, multiply by 35 minus 15. So what is the meaning of this line? Upper limit minus lower limit. What is the meaning of that? Upper limit minus lower limit. Whatever answer you are getting, then it is going to be add with the lower limit. So 35 minus 15 is 20. 20 plus 15 is again 35. It means from 15 till 35, any random number is going to be print, but in the floating number, it means in a decimal number. See here, when this statement execute, you are getting 28.3071872734. Okay, so you are not getting integer number only 28 you are getting a floating point number, because you are giving upper limit or lower limit, and you are doing subtraction. After that you are giving plus point. So if you are writing like this, definitely you will get floating point number. But if you want an integer number, you can use rand int function. Rand int function, first is 15, argument is 15, and second is 35. It means between 15 to 35 any number is going to be print, but in integer. Why in integer? Because see, function name is rand int. Rand int means randomly a integer is going to be print. Getting my point? See, in this above, you are getting a floating number random, in which we are writing upper limit and lower limit with addition sign. But in the third step you will get only integer, because the function itself saying that rand int. Okay, getting my point? So next is rand range. Now range is there. Rand means random. Range means now you are giving range. So if you are writing only 45, it means from starting 0 and you are giving the end point 45. So from starting 0 to 45, any number is going to be print. It can be 13, it can be 15, it can be 20, it can be 25, anything. Getting? Okay. Now let's move to the next part. Now with the rand range, you are giving starting point also and stopping point also. In the previous one, you are giving only 45. It means you are just giving the end point. But now you are saying that it will start from 11 and end to 45. It means from 11 to 45 any number can be generated. Okay, like in dice you are having starting limit 1 and ending limit 6. In the same manner you can give the start point also, you can give the stop point also. Getting my point? Now next function is rand range. Rand range is giving you three choices. First, only you can give the stop point. Second, you can give the start point or stop point. Third is you can give the start point, stop point, and step point. Three S are there. Now what is the meaning of this last S? Last S means step. Like if you are giving 11, 45 and 4. Now what is the meaning of this? You can, your random function start from 11, it will stop at 45, but after taking fourth step. See, first number is 11, second number would be 15, third number would be 19, after that 23. So till 45 a list can be formed in the mind of the compiler like this. Okay, now this will be your list. Okay, between these number only your random function will give you value. So when you perform like this, at the first time you are getting 15, next you are getting 35, next you are getting 39. So basically what you are doing here, you are giving a choice, you are making a list. Only from that list only you will get the random number. So that is not necessary you will get 11 only, you can get 43 also, you can get 23 also. This is the only the choice of the compiler, what that time it is giving as a result to you. Getting? Okay, now let's move to the next part. See children, what could be the minimum possible and the maximum possible number by the following code? So this is the very most common question you can face in the exam, children. See, import random means you are taking random function inside your program. Okay, you want to participate random module in your program. So now print random. Now print random means you are taking the help of random module. You have to write random, then dot operator, then you are writing rand int. Rand int means you want a random number but in the integer form. Now limit is given to you 3 comma 10. 3 is your starting point and 10 is your ending point. Okay, getting my point? Now question wants to know the minimum possible and the maximum possible number. Now minimum and maximum means, if you notice 3 comma 10, so 3 is your starting point and 10 is your ending point. So if you just concentrate on this parenthesis, your minimum range will be 3 and maximum range will be 10. But if you notice here, one extra thing is there, minus 3. So what is the role of minus 3 here? It means you have to subtract 3 from the starting position also and from the ending position also. So after subtracting, you will get 0 as a starting position and ending position you will get 7. Okay, this is your starting position and this will be your ending position. Getting my point? Now according to this, what is the minimum value? 0. And what will be your maximum value? 7. So this will be your answer. Getting or not? I hope you are getting my point. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Write a code fragment to generate a random floating number. Now concentrate here on the question, children. Question is saying that you want a floating number. It means that you have to use random function. You have to use random function. You can't use rand int, because in rand int you will get definitely an integer value. So for random floating number you have to use only random function. Now between 45 and 95, so upper limit and lower limit both has been given to you. Okay, Now print this number along with the nearest integer greater than. So this I will explain you later on. Let's make a program till here only. So let's concentrate only this part of your program. So write a code fragment to generate a random floating number between 45 and 95. Now when range is given to you, you have one option: upper limit minus lower limit plus 45 plus lower limit. So this sequence is there with you. So what you have to do, write import random. Avoid this import math right now. Now fnum is a variable. Fnum is a variable which is going to store the random value. Okay, now random means you are using your module dot. Now this random is your function. Inside the parenthesis, multiply upper limit minus lower limit. What you will get? You will get 50. 50 plus 45, it means 95. Okay, so from 45 to 95, any number is going to be print, but in decimal number, because random is used. Okay, now whatever number is going to be generated, it is going to be stored in fnum. So random number between 45 and 95, this is a printed message. See, just because of this line you are getting this point. Print random number between 45 dot 95. So these are in the double quotes. So whatever you write in the double quotes, you will get the same output whatever you are giving as an input. So same line you are getting here. Now print fnum. Fnum means because of this particular line, a number has been generated which is going to be stored into fnum. Now it's time to print that fnum. So computer has generated this fnum 48.24212509903489. So computer has generated a floating point number, because you need a floating point number. Now let's move to the next part of your question. Next part is saying that print this number. So whatever random number you are getting, print that number along the nearest integer greater than it. Now nearest integer greater than means you have to make it in a round figure, like in math we do. So you have, like if you are having 48.95, so approximately you can write 49 this number. So question wants to make a approx number of this floating point number. So in math module you are having that option. You can use ceil. Okay, ceil you can use. So for that, here import math is necessary. Now what you have to do, whatever number has been generated by the random number, it is going to be stored in this variable, that is fnum. So you have to apply ceil function on this fnum. So how you can write? You can write math, because we are using math module dot ceil, name of the function. Now on which you have to apply ceil? Fnum, because in the fnum variable your floating point number is stored. Okay, now whatever you are getting in the floating point number in fnum variable, because of the ceil function, it is going to be converted into an integer value. So a round figure value is 49. Just because of this line you are getting this output. Nearest higher integer is inum, because after converting into the approx number, it is going to be stored into the inum. Inum is again a variable here, getting. So you will get 49. I hope you are able to understand this question. In this question, again I am repeating, two parts are there. First of all, you have to generate a floating point number between the range of 45 and 95. After that, whatever floating point number you are getting, floating point number means decimal number you are getting, you have to convert into a integer value, a approx value. Okay, by which function you can do? That is ceil. Ceil belongs to the math module. let's move to the next question. Now next question is, write a code fragment to generate 3 random integers in the range of 10 to 70. Now in this code you have to generate 3 integers first of all. Now range has been given to you 10 to 70. Okay, so starting point is 10, ending point is 70 with a step of 13. Now, which random function you can use? See, we have discussed about the rand range. In that, we are having option of 3s. 3s is starting number, ending number, and step. Okay, so starting number is 10 is given to you, ending number is 70, step is 13. Okay, so with this you can generate 3 numbers. So let's see how. Import random, because you are going to use random. So num1, num2, num3 are the 3 variables in which 3 individual random number is going to be introduced. Okay, now let's move to the question. Create a set with these number. Now 3 number has been generated. After that what you have to do, you have to create a set. Now what is set? Set is a kind of list which come inside this curly braces. In set, repetition never allowed. So let's see. So now num1, num2, num3 are the 3 variables. So in this way we can write in the set form. So this is your set 1. Now random integer is the range 10 to 20. So this is a printed message, num1, num2, num3. So this 10 and this 10 and 62 is a random number. We don't know about this. A computer has been generated this number. So by default, computer has generated 210. So repetition is there. So when I try to print this set 1, in this 110 is going to be ignored. Getting my point? So what output you are getting? Set created. This message you are getting set 1. So in set 1 you are having 3 numbers, 10, 10 and 62, but 10 is repeating 2 times, so you can ignore 110. So 1062 will be your answer. Getting my point? Okay, now next module is statistic module. Now this is a kind of module which we use in maths, but these module does not come in the math. Okay, it comes in a separate module, that is statistic. Okay, for that you have to use this import statistic. In this you are having 3 options. One is mean, another is medium, and third is mode. Okay, so one sequence is there. If you want to find out the mean of that, just pass that variable sequence in that. If you want to find out the median, you just pass that variable inside the medium. In this way you can easily find out the mean, median and mode. Okay, now let's move to the next slide. Next slide is, let's see the question is, given list containing these value, one list is there, these values are there, you have to calculate mean, median and mode of that. So very easy question, you can easily do. See, what you have to do, you have to import statistic. So now concentrate here, one extra word is written as stat. Why it has been written here? Because statistic is a big word. If you want to avoid big words, like especially in keywords, you can give a short name to that. Like if your name is Aniket, so in your home might be every person calls you Ani. In the same manner, statistic is a big word. So instead of statistic, every time you can use stat. For that you have to write as stat. Okay, because we are giving short name to that particular word. So this list is given to you. We have made that list. Now you have to find out list mean again a variable equal to stat dot mean. List 1 has been passed to that. List medium is again a variable, stat medium list 1. List mode is again a variable, stat mode is a function, we are passing list 1. So After this we are printing mean, median and mode. So extra calculation we need not to do, just we can use the specified function mean, median and mode. Just pass the variable name, you will get the answer. Getting my point? Okay. Now, next topic is debugging. Now, what is the meaning of debugging? Debugging in simple English means to bugs from a program. Now, bugs means error. An error causing disruption in a program running or in producing right output. So, that is called program bug. So, if sometimes everything you do right but you are not getting the correct output, so that is called debugging. Or sometimes you might have committed few mistakes, that is also come in the category of bugs. Okay. Now, types of bugs, or we can say that types of errors. So we are having three types of error: compile time error, logical error, runtime error. Compile time error, we are having semantic errors and syntax error. Now let's understand what is the difference between these three errors: compile time, logical and runtime. Okay. Now, so first of all, you have to understand what is the difference between compile time. See, errors that occur during the compile time are called compile time error. When a program compile, its source code is checked for whether it follows the programming language's rules or not. Okay, so compile time means without running. Okay, might be you have used wrong formula of the particular situation, you are using wrong syntax, so that is called compile time. Runtime error basically is errors that occur during the execution of the program. Okay, so these are the harder to detect errors. Some runtime errors stop the execution of the program, which is then called program crashed or abnormally terminated. Most runtime errors are easy to identify because program halts means stop when it encounters them. An infinite loop or wrong value is there. Normally, programming language is incorporate checks for runtime error. So does Python. However, Python usually take care of such error by terminating the program. But a program that crashes whenever it detects an error condition is not desirable. Therefore, a program should be robust so as to recover or continue following an error. Okay, so let's discuss what are compile time errors. See children, understand this very carefully. So in compile time error, you are having syntax error or semantic error. What is the difference between these two? See, if you are writing x, this arrow, y multiplied by z, so this is called syntax error. The exact formation is x equal to y multiplies z. So y is going to be multiplied by z, and after that it is going to store inside the x. So this is wrong. This is a kind of syntax error. Like in English, if you are using wrong format, so that is come in the category of syntax error. Getting? So next is semantic error. Semantic errors occur when statements are not meaningful. When statements are not meaningful. So if you are writing x multiplied by y equal to z, so we know that L value and R value. Okay, L value is always which receive value. So correct statement will be z equal to x multiplied by y, because when x and y is going to be multiplied with each other, it is going to store at z definitely. But you can't write this. This is wrong. Okay, so this statement is meaningless. Okay, now let's take one more example. If you are having statement Sita plays guitar, this is correct. But if you are saying that guitar plays Sita, guitar can't play Sita, but Sita can play guitar. So this is called a semantic error when the statement is meaningless. Okay, now let's move to the logical error. Logical errors Sometimes even if you don't encounter any error during the compile time and run time, your program does not provide the correct result. This is because of the programmer's mistaken analysis of the problem he or she is trying to solve. Such errors are logical error. For instance, an incorrectly implemented algorithm, use of variable before its initialization, or unmarked end for a loop, or wrong parameter passed are often the hardest to prevent or to locate. Okay, so when compile time errors and runtime errors are not there, it comes in the category of the logical errors. Now let's move to the next topic. Next topic is about exceptions. Errors and exception are similar but different terms, children. While error represent any bug in the code that disrupt the running of the program or causes improper output, but exception refers to any irregular situation occurring during the execution runtime which you have no control on that. So what are exception? Let's understand that. So we are having different exception like end of error, eye of error, name error, index error, import error, type error, value error, zero division error, overflow error, key error. So let's see what are exception actually. See, now 100 divide by 0, so we can't divide anything by 0, so here you will get zero division error. So this is called exception, raised when second argument of division or module operation is 0. So when you are trying to divide by 0, that is not possible, so this is called exception. So you will face such kind of exception here. Now see, here you are writing int and you are passing 11ab. Now what you are doing? Invalid literal, because integer belongs to a number and you are giving this string, you are passing string to that. So here you will get value error, value exception, sorry. So value exception raised when built-in operation or function receive an argument with an inappropriate value. Now int received only numbers 10, 11, 12, 13, but you are giving string. So this is called a value error exception. Okay, getting my point? Now few questions are there. Let's discuss these questions. Now, what will be the output of the following? Print len string 17 floor division 14. Now, len is a function which tells us the length of particular string. So, str 17 floor division 4. Floor division means, like, if we divide by the 4 4 just 16, you will get 1. If you give point, you will get 10. 4 2 is 8, then 5, 4.25 you will get approximately. But in floor division, this decimal part always ignores. So what you will get? You will get only 4. Okay, by solving this you will get 4. Now length of 4, 1 is there, so you will get 1. Only one value is there now, so length of particular that string will be 1. Now next part is 17 divided by 4. Now in this you will get decimal part also, 4.0 something. So here you will get length 3. Getting my point? So 17 mod 4 you will get 4.25, so length of that you will get 3. Getting my point? Okay, now what will be the output produced by this? 12 division 4. So 12 4 3s are 12, you will get 3.0. 14 floor division 14, you will get 1. 14 mod 14 4. So 14 mod 4. 4 3s are 12, you will get 2. So this modulus sign always gives you remainder, so you will get 2 here. Okay, now 14.0 divided by 4. So 4 3s are 12, you will get 2. 3.5. So you will get 3.5, because in this division decimals you can write. Now 14 floor division 4, you will get only 3. You will get 3 only. Then 14 mod 4, here you will get 2, because it will deal with remainder only. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now, given that variable ck is bound to string Raman. Now ck is a variable which is equal to Raman. Okay. Now, what will be the output produced from two statement if the input given Raman? So now dk is asking for an input, because input function is used here, enter name. So if you are writing Raman again, so it means dk is also having Raman. Okay, let's see what the question wants to know. Dk equal to ck. Now equal to means question wants to know that either whether ck is equal to dk, it means ck is also having Raman or dk is also having Raman. So this statement is true, so you will get true answer. But when question is saying that dk is ck means dk is also equal to ck. No, because when dk is having Raman value, it is going to store at different memory address, and when we are writing ck equal to Raman, it is going to be stored at different memory address. So now memory address is not going to be same. Here only values are same, that is why this statement is true. But in second situation, memory address would be different, so you will not get true answer, you will get false answer. Okay, because is statement always deals with the memory address. Okay, getting my point? Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, in Python you can write -5 whole power 2. It means -5 multiplied by 2. So you can write in this way. So what you will get? Both the statements are true. Okay. So here you will get say children, you are having one statement like this, -5 raised to the power 2. So in Python you can write this statement in two ways. -5 exponent sign 2, it means 5 is going to be multiplied 2 times, but this sign is having higher precedence. Okay, so exponents operator has higher precedence than unary operator, so you will get this minus sign with that. But in the second sign only multiply sign is there, so this is having lower precedence, so you will get positive 25. Getting my point? So this question is just based on the precedence. Now next question is, a triangle has three sides ABC. So A is equal to 17, B is equal to 23, and C is equal to 33. So you have to find out this area, Heroin's formula. Okay, so how you can find this? You have to use this. So you can import math module in this, and you can easily get this formula. How you can use, let me show you. So what you have to do, you have to import first of all math, because math module is going to be used in this. So A comma B comma C 17, 23 and 30. Okay, now S is equal to A plus B plus C divide by 2. Okay, now so you have to use this square root. So how you can use? Area is a variable here. Now you have to use math module dot, you can write square root, then S into S minus A multiply by S minus B multiply by s minus c. So with this you can easily find out the area. Try this question. This is your homework in your Python app. Okay, let's move to the next question. Now next question is about write a Python program to calculate the amount. So what you have to do, you have to find out the simple interest in that. You have to find out the basically interest. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to find, enter money lent, enter rate of the interest, enter the year. So give all the details. Now put inside all the details in the formula. You will get amount. So print amount in that. So basic question is there. I hope you can do this question in your Python software. Now write a program to repeat string good morning n times. Now n times you have to write good morning. So first of all you need to ask how many times you have to print good morning. So ask the user input how many times. So it will going to store at n, print good morning multiply n. So whatever a user print a number, that time only you will get good morning. So user is saying 3 times, so good morning is going to be print 3 times. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Categorize the following as syntax error, logical error or runtime error. So 3 types of errors are there, you know that. So you have to see which kind of error it is. So 25 divided by 0, so this is runtime error, exception. So num1 is 25, num2 is 0, num1 divided by num2, you will get runtime error because 25 can't be divided by 0. So this is also an exception. You will get 0 division error. Okay. Now last question of this chapter. What would be the output of the following? So a is 3 plus 5 divided by 8. Now 5 divided by 8, it means 5 is going to be divided by 8. You will get a floating point number 0.625. After that it is going to add with 3. So you will get 3.625. Getting? Now next is 3 plus 5 divided by 8. Now same question is there, but before that int is there. It means whatever answer you are getting, you have to convert into int. So you are getting 3.65. So integer value in 3.65 is 3. So only 3 is going to be print. Now next part is 3 plus float 5.8. So 5 divided by 8, first convert into float value, you will get 625. Then it is going to be add with 3. So you will get 3.625. Next is first 3 plus float 5. Now only float is going to be apply on 5. It means 5.0 like this. After that it is going to divide by 8. You will get 0.625. Then it is going to be add with 3. You will get 3.625. Okay. Now next is 3 plus 5.08. So this 5.0 going to be divided by 8. You will get 0.625. Then it is going to be print with 3. So you will get 3.625 again. Now next is int 3 plus 5 divided by 8. So first of all the whole parenthesis is going to be solved. Then it is going to be divided into integer value. So I hope all steps are clear to you. Every step is getting the same answer but in different form. So with this I am ending this video, children. With this your chapter has been finished. In the next video we are going to start with new chapter. Take care of yourself. Try all the question whatever we have discussed in the video in your software, in the Python software. We will meet in the live session. That time I will solve your queries. Find out your queries and ask me that day. Thank you so much for attending this class.